Hey guys, Bidu here to tell you about the latest from Bloodywood, New Delhi, out March 21st on Fearless Records. The album has 8 tracks, 34 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length studio album. They are an Indian metal band. Now, when it comes to the design of this record, I thought the album was well crafted. First of all, it's a compact record because it has 8 songs and it's 34 minutes in length. There's not a lot of room there, but the album never feels repetitive, and for a band that has a lot of key characteristics to their sound and to their vocal performance that could easily create a sense of repetition from track to track, putting this album together was key in order for the experience to be elevated. Separating the commonalities or putting songs that have more things in common further apart from one another definitely allows this album to move a little bit better, to be more dynamic, to be more engaging, to be more fluid all around. I enjoyed the design of this record because it enhanced the qualities of the individual songs and actually brought a lot more to the forefront the individualistic nature that each and every single song has. Now, as far as the actual sound goes, this album has a lot of different influences. Nu metal, metalcore, folk metal, what else can I say, groove metal. I mean, this album has definitely a lot to unpack from a soundscape standpoint. The key thing for this record, in my opinion, first and foremost, was the production behind it. Definitely enhancing the quality of the songs, enhancing the quality of the overall sound, making this a more bright, a more open, but at the same time a little bit more epic sounding record all around. Every single song on this album has this massive footprint. All songs sound larger than life. All songs sound like they're almost being performed live. They have this big experience to them, and I think that's something that the production of the record really helped enhance, because that's always been kind of part of their sound, but on this album is better defined. Another aspect of the sound of this record that I really like is that all of these different influences work really well with one another, because you can infuse some groove metal guitar elements into a more nu metal sounding track without changing too much of what the song has to offer. And the same thing could be said for the metalcore elements that this album has, mixing really well with some nu metal portions of the album, both sonically and from a song structure standpoint, that brings almost the best of two worlds together. As far as the folk side of the record is concerned, you're obviously going to see it in that more traditional Indian sound that's always been part of Bloodywood's records and songs, but also from a vocal performance. Those two become a little bit of the staples. They become a little bit more of the lines that stay very straight and very linear throughout, and all of the other elements are the ones moving around more in one song, less in the other, in order to create a more individualistic fingerprint for each and every single track. Obviously, like I said, the production behind it enhances all of it. Now, as far as specific sound elements, this album has a good guitar sound, but it's not the guitar sound that's going to sell you on the record. There are some heavier elements guitar-wise, but I felt like from a percussion standpoint, that's where this album really shines. And a lot of that big epic sound and that big epic experience that the record has, a lot of it comes from that, as well as some other elements like synthesizers that allow this record to have a more modern metalcore touch at times, but also synth sounds and electronic sounds that also merge well with the more nu metal experience that some of the tracks on this record have. For example, if you listen to a song like Tatka, that song feels more like a modern metalcore track because of the melancholy that it has, because of the sound that it offers. But then you listen to New Delhi, and that track obviously has more of a nu metal drive behind it. A lot of the elements on both songs are exactly the same. They're just mixed in a different way. There's just different portions of these elements in these two songs that allow them to create two very distinct tracks, but still using the exact same ingredients in both of them. And that's pretty much what this album is all about. Having a very limited source of ingredients, but then mixing them completely different from track to track in order for the record to feel fresh at every single turn, for the sound to be bright, to be big, to be epic, and trying to avoid that repetition as much as possible. As far as the vocals goes, great vocal performance on this record. I really enjoyed the dynamic of the vocals. It's a very lively album vocally. as it is sonically. Like I said, it almost feels like a live record at times, and the vocal performance really enhances that experience. It really enhances that feel. I enjoyed all the different styles and all the different deliveries, all the different tonalities. It's an album that's very textured from a vocal standpoint, matching the same sort of texture that you're gonna get on the sound that this album has to offer. So great vocal performance, dynamic, impactful, merging well with the ideas and with the deliveries that each song puts forward. When you start to look at the big picture of this record, how everything comes together, this is definitely an improvement from their debut album. This is an album that showcases growth, it showcases their creativity, and it definitely offers a more polished approach to their sound. It's a more sonically sounding album with better all-around ideas and better presented to the listener, having more of a polished feel, but still feeling very raw and very rugged. But the production from that standpoint really finalizes all the details, making it feel a little bit more soft around the corners and not so rugged and not so edgy as it was the debut record. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Holla Ball. This is the opening track on the record. Very vibrant, very alive. Once again, that feeling like every song on this record is a live track really comes together, and the opening track kind of sets the tone for that mood, for that sort of energy. This is definitely a track that has more of a nu metal influence all around. Sonically, I think nu metal is definitely the genre that impacts this record the most, and I think that also plays off of the title of the album being New Delhi. This track has this great synth work that helps give some size to the song. It's a textured track. There's a lot of different layers in it. The chorus is very catchy, and I feel like the catchiness of the chorus really comes from its simplicity. Simplicity in sound, simplicity in lyrics, simplicity in vocal delivery. There is a sense of heaviness with this track, but overall the melody that the track has, that synth work that the track has, really dilutes a little bit of that heaviness and allows the song to be a lot easier to digest, and also allows the song to be a lot more vibrant. Then you have a song like Hut. The drum sound and the guitars on this track definitely bring this track a little bit more of a metal vibe to it. You're still gonna get the Indian folk element experiences coming in, both vocally and sonically, but this is definitely a track that has a more modern metalcore sound to it, and you feel that as the track develops, and perhaps you feel that even more once you get to the chorus. The chorus of this song definitely has a metalcore style approach, both musically and vocally, and that defines the track differently. But it's interesting because at the same time, you're still gonna find some nu metal elements throughout the entire song. And I feel like those nu metal elements, specifically the more electronic elements within the nu metal genre, merge really well with a more modern metalcore sound that the track has. Last but definitely not least, Kismet, a heavy track, and this one is heavy guitars and drums. The guitars on this track are more noticeable. They're punched through a little bit better, and this allows them to create a little bit more room for themselves. In my opinion, this is the most consistent heavy song start to finish, specifically when you start to look at the impact that both drums and guitars have together. Then obviously there are pockets here and there that change some of the dynamics, like some hip-hop style vocals that helps break the track apart a little bit. There's obviously some pockets of folk metal influences or of Indian folk sounds that help also break that heaviness a little bit. The vocal deliveries, the different styles. There's a lot of elements within this track that really help break it apart a little bit, and it allow it at times to feel like it also finds rooms for some more modern metalcore elements to come in. But overall, this track falls on the heavier side of the spectrum as far as consistency from start to finish, and as far as the overall record is concerned. This is it, Bloodywood with New Delhi, once again out March 21st on Fearless Records. Hit me up in the comment section, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.